high mark of the highest calling in the Messiah Yeshua, which is a ministry to Yahweh outside the camp. Do not ever forget, your first calling is not to be happily married and to raise children. That is a lie. As Yahweh lives, that is a lie.
Right.
Wow.
Your highest calling is the fact that you've been given the privilege to minister to Yahweh. Not for Yahweh, to his people only, yes. But Shmuel, the young child Samuel, began to hear Yahweh's voice at an early age. And as it is written in the scriptures, he ministered to Yahweh. You think about what I'm telling you. Yahweh allows some people to minister to him.
That's amazing.
It's beyond human comprehension.
Beyond.
Beyond human comprehension. So I'm trying to get into that irresistible place. And using the keyboard for Yahweh. To minister to Yahweh. I may not get my own, how many would agree may not get my own show on MTV right away?
Kind of looks.
But guess what? Number one, I'll guarantee I'll be better in a year.
Oh yeah.
But even if not, guess what? Rivka sees me singing, worshiping to Yahweh. There's less TV. There's less other things going on. And I'm ministering to Yahweh because of the keyboard. That works for me. What works for you? There's got to be something that works for you. Shemot 33:11. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, Panayim el Panayim, as a man speaks to his Chaver.
Wow.
And he returned again into the camp. Notice, even Moshe needed to get some sleep and return to the camp. But his Eved Yehoshua, the son of Nun, a young man with a lot of energy, never departed. Never. That's right. He slept, he ate, he drank, he communed. He never left the tabernacle. Duh. And who was chosen to succeed Moshe Rabbeinu?
Exactly. Joshua ben Nun.
Wow. See that?
So the people here had a common relational presence, but did not have a working or an outside the camp presence. But when we go outside the camp, bearing his reproach, we will find Yeshua speaking to us, Panayim el Panayim, as a man speaks to his Chaver. Only Yehoshua entered outside the camp and stayed outside the camp. Not even Moses. You think about what I'm saying here. Out of 3 million, 2 left their comfort zone. And out of 2, 1 never left the presence of Yahweh.
Wow.
Not even Moshe. Because Moshe had a lot of problems.
And he returned back.
Moshe had a lot of problems with people, places, and things, Governor. You follow me? Joshua didn't have those hang-ups. His devotion was only to Yahweh. Baruch Hashem. I was going to save this for next time, but I'm on a roll, so let's go. Matidyahu 17. As we wind down. It doesn't mean close your ears and heart. It just means as we wind down. Matidyahu 17:1. But I read Shemot 33 and I'm blown away. Completely blown away. The people stayed. They saw. You know the funny thing is, they saw the out of the camp presence. They saw it. Yahweh. It was almost like Yahweh was inviting them. He allowed them to see the presence, the cloud, but they did not go outside the camp. They saw what only Moshe and Joshua were experiencing, but they didn't move.
Refused to move.
So what does it mean at the door of their tent? What does that mean to me? They had family issues. So we spend all of our time trying to settle our family issues. which really can never get fully settled. Sometimes they can get better, sometimes they can get worse. Instead of just medicating on Yahweh, take the medication. Drink the Mayim Chaim, it's spiked. The water is spiked.
With life.
And then the way hubby acts and the children act, all of a sudden loses its significance. It won't change necessarily, but it loses its impact on you. You become immune to it. But you have to strengthen yourself in Yahweh, like Melech David said.
Yeah.
He learned how to strengthen himself in Yahweh. We wind down with this. We're coming in for the landing. Matidyahu 17, 1 through 9. After 6 days, Yeshua took Kifa, Yaakov, and Yochanan, his brother, and brought them up into a high mountain alone to make tefillah. And while he was making tefillah, he was transformed before them. And his face did shine as the sun, and his clothing was white as light. And see, there appeared to them Moshe and Eliyahu talking with him about what would happen to him in Yerushalayim. Then answered Kifa and said to Yeshua, Master, it is told for us to be here. If you will, let us make here 3 sukkot, one for you, one for Moshe, one for Eliyahu. While he yet spoke, see, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and they were greatly alarmed. And see, a bat kol, a voice out of the cloud, said, literally daughter of the voice, this is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased, hear him.
Yeah.
That was the Holy Spirit speaking, and of course the Father, but it was all together. And when the Talmudim heard it, they fell on their face and were very afraid. And Yeshua came and touched them and said, Rise and be not afraid. And when he had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man except Yeshua only. And as they came down from the mountain, Yeshua commanded them, saying, Tell this vision to no man until the Ben Adam be risen again from the dead. What we have just read here, brothers and sisters, the mountain of transfiguration, probably Mount Carmel. This is the outside the camp presence that takes you on a high mountain alone away from the camp of the world, without others around you, as you and Yeshua are alone in the highest of places in revelation and peace, where others cannot go. Where were the other 9?
They stayed out.
They were at the door, worshiping Yahweh from a distance. They weren't called to go outside the camp. They were worshiping Yahshua from a distance. They weren't summoned to go up the highest of high places in Yahshua and be with him alone. Others cannot go and will not go when summoned. I'll say that again. Others cannot go or will not go when summoned. I'll say that again. Others cannot go or will not go when summoned. In this presence, you neither see or desire to see or know anything but Yeshua's love and his light. Let's read this again. Let's read this again. Look at verse 8. When they were in this outside the camp on the mountain, away from the people of Israel and away from the disciples of Yeshua, the Messiah of Israel, where they were all alone with Yeshua, they started out with Moshe, representing the Torah, Eliyahu, representing the Nevi'im, the recorded words of Yahweh, but then they metamorphically disappeared, Rivka, and they were only left with Yeshua. 3 out of 12 saw a vision. They stayed at the tent door. But then Moshe and Elijah disappeared, and they were only left with Yeshua, outside the camp, away from Israel, and away from the rest of the disciples.
Wow.
How did they get there? Well, that's not true. Yeshua chose them. Yes. Yes.
Because he saw the heart.
And then when he chose them, they answered the call by climbing the mountain. If they had stayed, Bruno, at their tent door and worshiped Yahweh, what would happen? They would have stayed in his irresistible presence. They had to climb that mountain when Yeshua summoned them and when Yeshua called them to climb that mountain. And when you climb that mountain, now this is the